Week 11 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I look to add this week on the waiver wire. The first guy, Tejon Walker of the New York Mets. Walker off to a great start just like last season. And then the second half of the season, he hit a little bit of the wall, but so far 59 in the third, 5-2 record, 52 hits given up, 19 earned runs, 17 walks, 44 strikeouts. 4 quality starts, 2.88 ERA, and a 1.16 whip. So he's pitched great baseball for this Met team. And it's surprising to me he's still available in 50% of fantasy leagues here because he's gone out there, especially the last 2 outings, and he's been lights out, and his strikeouts have gone up as well. June 7th at San Diego, 6 innings, got the loss in that one, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks in that one. June 12th at the Angels, 6 innings, got the win, 6 hits, a run, a walk, 10 Ks, a quality start. And June 18th versus the Marlins, 6 2/3, got the win in that ball game. 2 hits, a run, a walk, 9 Ks. So right here, he's pitching good baseball for this Met team. And his next outing, once again, will verse the Miami Marlins, which obviously they're one of the weak-hitting teams in all the major leagues. So Walker's on a great team with the Mets that are 44-24 so far to start the season. And they've given him some decent run support as well. So right now, surprising he's out there in 50% of leagues, and I would pick him up. And obviously, if he hits the wall, because he is a hit-or-miss type of starter, is Walker, you just drop him. But right now, with an ERA under 3 and on a Met team in first place right now, he's definitely a good add this week. The next guy, Chris Archer of the Minnesota Twins. So far this season, mixed bag of results for Archer, but definitely a bounce back this year from what he's done the last few seasons with injuries and bad outings. On the season for Chris Archer, 2 1/3, 1 in record, 44 hits, earned runs, 25 walks, 39 strikeouts, and no quality starts on the season here for Archer. So Archer, I know he don't go deep into games, but he's been pretty decent with the ERA, and even his strikeouts have been a little bit okay as well. You just want to see these guys go deeper into games, but at least Archer, he's been better than some of the options we've been seeing on the waiver wire, or even with guys on teams this season. So on the last few games here for Archer, June 8th versus the Yankees, 5 innings, got the win, 2 hits, a run, 4 walks, 2 Ks. June 13th at Seattle, 4 innings, no decision, 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 Ks in that one. And then yesterday at the Arizona Diamondbacks, 4 innings, got the loss, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 Ks. So right here, I know he's not going that deep into ball games, but he's pitching with a pretty good Minnesota Twin team this season here is Archer. And he's got to be stretched out a little bit. Like I mentioned, he hasn't pitched a lot over the last 2 seasons with injuries and just bad performances. Here's Chris Archer, but I think he found a decent spot as the 4th or 5th starter here with this Minnesota Twin team. And I know he's not the Archer from his Tampa Bay Ray days, but I still think he has a little left in the tank. And right now, if you need a guy at the back end of your rotation, I think he's a decent add, and he's available in 85% of fantasy leagues. The next guy is John Gray of the Texas Rangers. I mentioned Gray last week as an add, and he's still out there in 60% of fantasy leagues, even though he did get added in 12% in the last week. On the season, 59 innings, 2-3 record, 49 hits, 28 earned runs, 22 walks, 63 strikeouts, 4 quality starts, a 4.27 ERA, and a 1.20 whip here on the season for John Gray. So Gray, we know he had a stint on the injured list early in the season, but the last 2 outings, he's really gone out there and pitched great baseball. I know it hasn't been versus toughest of teams with the White Sox in Detroit, but he's gone out there and pitched well. June 7th at Cleveland was a down game, though. 5 innings, got the loss, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks, 3 Ks. June 12th at the White Sox, 6 innings, no decision, 3 hits, a run, 3 walks, 10 Ks. And June 17th at Detroit, a great ball game. 7 innings, got the win. 5 hits, no runs, 6 Ks in that one, and the quality starts are Gray. We always knew he was a good strikeout guy with electric stuff, but now I think he's coming into his own a little bit here with this Texas Ranger team. I know his next outing, June 22nd versus a hot Philly team, that's 115 out of 18, is going to be tough here, but that he's available in 60% of fantasy leagues, and it's tough nowadays to find quality starting pitching. So Gray's going out there, he's pitching good baseball. I know the Rangers aren't that good of a team here, but he's definitely a guy that should be owned in more leagues, and I'm going to tell fantasy owners once again this week to go out there and get him. The next guy, Michael Walker of the Boston Red Sox. So right here, Michael Wacha, very surprising this season here. Another guy that I know don't go deep into games, but he's going to get you some innings. ERA is low this season, and he does have a 5-1 record on the season, 59 in the third. 5-1 record with a complete game shutout under his belt, 44 hits, 15 earned runs, 17 walks, 41 strikeouts, 2 quality starts, a 2.28 ERA, and a 1.03 whip. So right here, very impressive, especially in a tough American League East with New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays, and the Tampa Rays that he's holding his own. Here's Michael Wacha with an ERA under 3. So the last couple games for him, not the greatest of games, but he's still going out there and giving fantasy on his meaningful innings. 4 1/3, June 11th at Seattle. 8 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 3 Ks. And June 17th versus former team, the Cardinals. 5 1/3, got the win. 6 hits, a run, a walk, 5 Ks. So right here, not many quality starts, I know, but he's pitching good innings. ERA is down, and it's surprising to me he's still available in 66% of fantasy leagues. And he's got a great matchup June 22nd versus a weak Detroit Tiger team. The next pitcher I look to pick up this week's Josiah Gray of the Washington Nationals. So Gray, he's been on this list a lot this season here, and I know the Nationals one of the worst teams in the National League this season here. But Josiah Gray's gone out there the last few outings and pitched great baseball and should be owned in more fantasy leagues as well. Still available in 52% of leagues on the season. 68 in the third, 6-4 record, 54 hits, 30 earned runs, 32 walks, great 73 strikeouts in the 68 in the third, 4 quality starts, a nice 3.95 ERA, and a 1.26 whip. So a guy pitching in a tough division with good hitting teams like the Mets, Braves, and Phillies here to have an ERA under 4 and dropping dramatically over the last couple outings. He's a guy with great upside, and I've mentioned this tons of times over the season in my videos. He was a former top prospect in the Dodgers system, traded late trade deadline last year in the Max Scherzer Trey Turner deal, and he's definitely panning out over the last few outings for the Nats. June 3rd at Cincinnati, 6 innings, got the win, 2 hits, a run, 3 walks, 9 Ks, a quality start. June 8th at the Marlins, 5 innings, no decision, 6 hits, no runs, a walk, 6 Ks. And June 18th versus a good Philly hitting team that's red hot right now, 6 innings, no decision, a hit, 3 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. So right here, he's not going to get much run support, not going to get many wins, but surprisingly, he is 6-4 on the season here with a decent amount of wins as Gray. So he's gone out there every 5th day over the last 3 weeks here, and he's pitched great baseball. So right now, his next outing most likely will be at the Texas Rangers, which is a pretty decent matchup here. And I think this guy's got great upside, and he's pitching good baseball, and he should be owned in more fantasy leagues than only 48%. The next guy, David Peterson of the New York Mets. Peterson now, he's definitely going to have a spot for a while with Tyler McGill out for this New York Met team. Once again going down with shoulder inflammation. So on the season here for Peterson, mixed bag of results. 40 innings, 3-1 record, 33 hits, 16 earned runs, 20 walks, 35 strikeouts, a 5.54 ERA, and a 1.40 whips. I know those numbers overall ain't great, but I'm recommending Peterson for 2 reasons this week. He's a double starter. He's got the matchup June 20th versus the Miami Marlins. And then on the back end, next weekend, he's going to versus the Marlins again. So we know the Marlins, they got a good pitching staff, no doubt about it. But they're a team that just really can't hit the baseball. And I think Peterson could go out there with 2 matchups versus the Marlins most likely in the upcoming week here and pitch good games. Right now, he's available in a boatload of fantasy leagues at 87%. But right now, I think he could go out there and pitch good. And he's been decent for a couple outings. Is Peterson, including a relief mixed in there as well. So June 4th at the Dodgers, I know 3 2/3, 2 hits, a run, 4 walks, 6 Ks in that one. June 10th at the Angels, 2 2/3 in relief, got the win. 3 hits, a run, a walk, 3 Ks. And then June 15th, the Brewers did hit him up pretty good. 4 innings, got the loss. 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. But right here, I just got a feeling versus this Marlin team, he's worth a shot. And like I mentioned, this Met team's playing great baseball. They're scoring a decent amount of runs of late here. And I think Peterson with a double matchup, it looks like, versus the Marlins in the upcoming week here in Week 11. I think he's a guy would take a gamble on more in points league than category leagues. And I think he'll be decent this week. The next guy, Alex Cobb of the San Francisco Giants. Cobb returned in yesterday's ball game versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I know he didn't do much here, but this is a guy that's pretty decent, I think, for the back end of your rotation. And obviously, they weren't going to push him much in his first returning back here. Is Cobb in that ball game versus the Pirates on the season? 31 2/3, 3-2 record, 47 hits, 26 earned runs, 13 walks, strikeouts on the season, a 5.53 ERA, and a 1.44 whip. So I know that's not a great ERA. I know it's not a great whip. But this San Francisco Giant team, they're having a good season once again. 10 games over 500. And Alex Cobb, he could go out there and be decent for fantasy teams. And believe it or not, he's only owned in 46% of leagues. So to have a guy who's pretty decent, even though the numbers don't match it up, he was pitching good before he went on the injured list here. He's available still in 54% of leagues. May 23rd versus the Mets, 6 innings, 10 hits, 6 runs. Got the loss, 7 Ks in that one. May 29th at the Reds, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks. Quality start. And June 19th at the Pirates in his return, 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 2 Ks. So right here, not the greatest in numbers, but I think he's a good veteran for 12-team leagues or deeper that can help you in ball games, that can help you in some innings, keep the ERA maybe a little bit down, even though I know it hasn't been that down this season here. But I think Cobb could turn things around. And like I mentioned, every other start, he's been good. One good start, one bad start. So if you could deal with the inconsistencies and the streakiness of Cobb, I think he's a decent ad this week. Not the greatest ads, but deeper leagues, I think I would give him a shot. The next guy, Tanner Scott of the Miami Marlins. So right here, if you need a cheap save type of guy here, I think Tanner Scott's a decent ad. I know the numbers haven't been great, and I know he got bombed in one of his latest outings, is Scott here. But on the season, 26 innings, 2-2 record, 5 saves, 20 hits, 14 earned runs, 13 walks, 39 strikeouts on the season here for Scott. A 5.04 ERA and a 1.32 whip. So right here, he didn't get the save in his latest outing versus the New York Mets, but they got that scratch-in run in last ball game here with the Marlins to beat the Mets 6-2 in that one. But Scott's still the closer. I know he had a bad outing versus the Phillies June 15th, 2/3, giving up 3 runs in that one with the blown save and the loss. But like I mentioned, if you need a second or third closer on your team, I think Scott's a decent ad. And right now, he's available still in 78% of fantasy leagues. The next guy's Antonio Centeswa of the Colorado Rockies. So centeswa, he's been pitching good baseball over the last few weeks here. And I know the Rockies, they're not a good team. I know they're in last place in a very tough division in the NL West. But centeswa has gone out there, and he's pitched decent recently. 53 innings, 3-3 record on the season. 1 hits, 26 earned runs, 12 walks, 27 strikeouts, and 4 quality starts. So he's definitely gone out there the last 3 outings, and he's pitched great baseball. And he's a guy available in 97% of fantasy leagues. I know things could turn the other way quickly where he struggles again, but right now, with good outings versus decent ball clubs the last few times out, I would definitely give him an ad. June 8th at the Giants, 6 innings, no decision. 6 hits, a run, a walk, 6 Ks, a quality start. June 14th at the Guardians, 6 innings, no decision. 8 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 4 Ks, a quality start. And then June 19th, yesterday, versus a good Padre team, 6 innings, got the win. 6 hits, a run, 2 walks, 3 Ks, a quality start. So right here, centeswa, he's gone out there, and he's pitched good baseball. And like I mentioned, it's very tough to find guys who are pitching quality baseball. In the last 3 outings, he's had quality starts for some decent opponents. So I would go out there and get him. And if the wheels fall off and he struggles, you could just drop him. But right now, available in a whopping 97% of fantasy leagues, and I definitely would add him this week. And the final pitcher I look to add this week, Zach Davies of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I know the D-backs, not a great team this season, 31-36 on the season, but he's gone out there, Davies, and he's been a quality starter, surprisingly, over the last few weeks, especially at an innings eater, 69 innings, 2-3 record, 61 hits on the season, 29 earned runs, 22 walks, 57 strikeouts, 3.78 ERA, and a 1.20 whip. So to have an ERA under 4, especially in that tough division in the NL West, is very good, in my opinion. And he's still available in 88% of leagues as Davies. June 4th at the Pirates, 7 2/3, no decision, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks, a quality start. June 9th at the Reds, 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 7 Ks, a quality start. And then June 14th versus the Reds again, 7 innings, no decision, 6 hits, 7 Ks, and a quality start. So right here, I know he's not going to get many wins in a tough division and on a Diamondback team that don't score a lot, but he's going out there, getting quality starts, especially the last 3 outings in a row, like I mentioned. And I know he has a tough matchup here tonight at the Padres, but I think Zach Davies, as a veteran, he could be serviceable for fantasy owners, especially in 12-team leagues or deeper, and a guy that can help you in ERAs. He can help you in even innings, because obviously 69 innings is pretty good so far here for Davies, and I would give him a shot. So that's a few pitchers I look to add here for week 11 of the fantasy baseball season.